I've been working in adult outreach for 12 years and I kind of stumbled into mental health. Traditionally, we were part of a university outreach department. So because I've come through a lifelong learning track myself, I kind of understand some of the barriers that adults go through and the kind of access and learning. Over the last 10, 12 years, I've been responsible for passing that kind of learning experience onto other groups and other parties. But one of the areas that we kind of felt that wasn't being attended to was mental health. And so even though there are some projects that kind of work within mental health, there's none that actually uses bespoke progression pathways, maps, right, that encourages individuals into higher education. And that's kind of what we're about. There's a growing concern around mental health and mental illness, yet education isn't tackling that. There's not a universal approach like within FE, HE or education more generally that recognises the power that education can have for somebody's mental illness. So what RecoverED is trying to do is to say, look, we have to rethink this, right? And we have to rethink it not just in terms of mental health but actually well-being. Education is about personal discovery, right? And I think that because we're so outcomes driven, right, is that we have to go back to a point that recognises the person first, right? We need a movement that understands what's happening at the top and what's happening at the bottom and connect the two. But the way that's connected, will be in the middle somehow in terms of some kind of understanding. And that's what RecoverED is trying to do. So it's not looking at it just in practical terms, it's doing kind of philosophical terms as well as understanding where the person is in the middle of all that. So the kind of conversation on person-centred kind of fits at the heart of what we do. I've written some blogs in terms of mental health and education because there is a gap. That obviously EPALE as a kind of European network allows me that kind of scope to discuss. But also because there are update emails. I mean, it allows me to keep up to date with some of the changes, if you want, and the kind of innovations that are taking place. The problems for widening participation in lifelong learning are universal. What's happening in one country can be mirrored in another, and I think that what's essential is something like EPALE can bring that together, right? And I think that's the bit that EPALE can do, and also show that other countries that they can feed into this, right? So rather than just one country doing one thing there and one country doing one thing there, which is often the same, is that EPALE can bring them together and say we can have one set of thinking here that will take lifelong learning and my passion, widening participation forward.